Welcome back to Central American Minutes. I'm Roman Gracier, the editor of El Faro English. Thanks for joining us for today's Year in Review episode.
In Nicaragua, the house arrest of Daniel Ortega's brother
relates more to El Salvador and Honduras than to Guatemala. In the case of Guatemala,
they say globalism comes to die at CIPA, but in El Salvador, it's already dead.
Central America in Minutes on El Faro English.
And I'm Juliana Ramazzini. It's Friday, December 27th. A year ago, El Faro English called 2023 the year of the Guatemalan surprise. The upset victory of Bernardo Arévalo in the presidential election shook up the Central America chessboard, creating a narrow democratic opening that had seemed unlikely. 2024 in Central America is the year of autocrats on the march. Arévalo has failed to remove Attorney General Consuelo Porras from office. Since the beginning of his administration, Arévalo has called for her resignation, but she has dodged every attempt, stating in the first days of Arévalo's term that she will not resign. Congress has refused to discuss reforms that would make it easier for the president to remove her. Almost a year into his administration, Porras continues to threaten Arévalo and his party with legal attacks that, according to Human Rights Watch this week, are politically motivated. In recent days, people have graffitied "Lukewarm Arévalo" near the National Palace in Guatemala City. A portion of his own base criticizes his inaction toward the ongoing lawfare, which is even affecting other prosecutors. More than 14 employees have been removed from the prosecutor's office for human rights, and the Special War Crimes Unit has been dismantled. This has affected important cases such as the Ixil genocide trial, which we will continue to cover next year. In the remaining 2 years of the Attorney General's term, journalists such as José Rubén Zamora and Juan Luis Font continue to face persecution.
Then there's El Salvador, where Nayib Bukele used a legislative supermajority that he obtained democratically in 2021 to remove the constitutional chamber of the Supreme Court that year and justify his re-election to an unconstitutional second term this February. He took office on June 1st without complaint from the international community. Journalistic investigations this year revealed that he has concentrated power in lockstep with his family's accumulation of wealth. Investigations from Redacción Regional and Focus revealed that the Bukele family has become a large landowner and bought buildings in the center of San Salvador under tax exemptions approved by the Bukele-controlled assembly. Meanwhile, an El Faro investigation by Victoria Delgado revealed that between September 2023 and May 2024, the office of the president purchased lots surrounding his personal residence for over $1 million to expand the presidential residence. This happened while he ran for a second term. It was as if to indicate that he knew he would stay in office. For more, read a new essay by El Faro's editorial board in our year-end special. 2024 puts the Bukele family kleptocracy on display. You can find it in our year-end special on our homepage at elfaro.net/en.
Few in Central America have been as pleased as Bukele for the return of Donald Trump, which is both a regional thoroughline for 2024 and a Central America political story to watch in 2025. As El Faro's editorial board wrote in a special year-end essay, Bukele and his political operatives have expressed interest in pursuing the press during Trump's second term. Top Guatemalan prosecutors have also flashed their preference for Trump, like Rafael Curruchiche, the special prosecutor against impunity, the hatchet man of Consuelo Porras, who has taken to posting pictures of himself in Trump campaign gear. Even former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernández has been eager to rehabilitate his image as a faithful Trump lieutenant after his conviction to 45 years in prison this year on drug trafficking-related charges. A day after the U.S. election, his Facebook page posted a video from 2019 of Trump telling Hernández, "You've done a fantastic job. My people say they work so well with you." Trumpland has courted Central America too, especially the Bukele administration. From Trump Jr.'s trip to attend Bukele's June inauguration to comments from Marco Rubio, who has been nominated to head the State Department. After Bukele's re-election, Rubio said that El Salvador is a, quote, bright spot in our region. Biden officials have lamented what they call unfavorable political conditions and a lack of willing partners for their agenda in a region. But it would appear, with days remaining until Trump returns, that Central America has outweighed Biden after all. Read more in our year-end special in a second essay by El Faro's editorial board, Central America Greets Trump with Open Arms.
Which takes us to 2025, as Trump promises to deport millions of immigrants. Dulce Guzman, the new executive director of the grassroots immigrants' rights coalition Alianza Americas, told El Faro English right before the U.S. election that they expect DACA to be struck down by the Supreme Court and will again turn to religious organizations for help protecting immigrants from removal. In the last fiscal year, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, reported the highest annual deportation total since 2014. At the Central American Journalism Forum in Antigua, Guatemala, in November, former Biden White House advisor for migration Emily Mendrala told us that neither the U.S. nor Central American governments have the infrastructure nor capacity to carry out deportations at the levels Trump has promised. But she suspects they will make great fanfare of their early efforts next year. We'll be watching this story and report on how it affects Central America and its diaspora communities in the United States.
And keep your eye out in the coming weeks for the start of our electoral coverage in Honduras. The party primaries will be in early March, followed by the general election in November. According to a diplomat in Tegucigalpa who spoke anonymously, citing diplomatic press restrictions and a threat of government retaliation, a key test for Xiomara Castro's promise to break with the corruption of Juan Orlando Hernandez will be whether the electoral season is carried out without lawfare, which stained the 2023 elections in Guatemala. In 2024, the Castro government intensified its lashing out at perceived critics, stoking fear among civil society organizations. Castro has appointed ruling party presidential primary candidate Rishi Moncada as Minister of Defense. Moncada would have to resign in order to avoid overseeing the army, which must supervise the election, while also running for president. This is very worrying, said the diplomat. If Moncada does not resign, quote, this would be the making of a crisis.
At El Faro English, we've had a busy year. We said goodbye to editor and Washington correspondent José Luis Sanz after he spent more than 2 decades at El Faro and laid the groundwork for our full English language edition. In July, I stepped into working as an editor of El Faro English from Guatemala City. Juliana joined us as a staff reporter in Guatemala too. She has written about Arévalo's fumbling, the Ixil genocide trial, anti-LGBTQ backlash across Central America, and more in our weekly newsletter. We launched this podcast to draw closer to U.S. listeners and bridge the gap between Central America and the conversations about the region in the United States and the English-speaking world. We're grateful for each one of you, our listeners, readers, subscribers, and crowdfunders who make our work worthwhile. Next year, we plan to keep growing in the podcasting and audio space. If you like this podcast, please help us continue by going to support.elfaro.net. You can join our crowdfunding community or leave us a one-time holiday gift.
Thanks for listening to Central American Minutes this year. Roman Gracier and I wrote today's episode with production and original soundtrack by Omnium. We hope you're enjoying the holidays. We'll be back in 2025 wherever you stream this podcast. Check out our website and subscribe to our newsletter at elfaro.net/en for more reporting that translates Central America. Hasta pronto!